Good morning. This is Pierre Laguerre here, your daily motivator, always here to challenge, inspire, and motivate you. So today on episode 491, as I'm nearing episode 500, I recognize one thing that's the most important. And on this weekend reflections, I want to hit you up with one key thing that we all make excuses about. Well, most of us. And it is time. It is the time that you have to use on a daily basis. Every day you start with 86,400 seconds. And then those 86,400 seconds, think of it as a bank account that gets filled every morning. You know, again, as a Christian, I recognize and remember the verse, His mercies are new every morning. So what I want to share with you, this morning I had the best time. Just came back from a swim with my son, and it was absolutely the best time to spend time with my son. You know, it's really about time. It's really about quality time. The ability we have to spend time. But are you really spending time? Are you using time? Or are you investing time? For me, I felt like this little 30-minute swim that I spent with my son was an investment. Best investment that I could make in my son. Last night, we went mini golfing, and that was a time investment again. And it was a great time investment. It was wonderful. We had a good time. See, the one thing I want to share with you is the following. Your time is your greatest asset. And I know, as I'm nearing episode 500, there were times along the way when I asked myself, why am I doing this again? You know, who's listening? Is anybody really paying attention? I'm putting my time into this. And this is important because you have invested time in things that you're doing. And of course, if you're listening to this podcast, I absolutely challenge you to sit down and review your schedule. You may be going on vacation. You may be spending time with your family. You may be spending time at work. But I will challenge you to really take account of your time. If there's anything that the Bible tells us is that we must redeem the time. We must learn how exactly we're spending our time so that we don't end up wasting the time that we've been allotted. Again, 86,400 seconds. And in that time that I just started this podcast, the last 90 plus 60, that's 150 seconds. That's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm just counting. Guess what? In that time alone, there are people that have been born and there are people that have actually died on this planet. And we may say, well, their time was up. But in reality, is it that their time was up? And here's the real question that I have for you. When your time is up, what will be said of you? What is the legacy that you want to leave behind? How will you be remembered? You see, you may say, Pierre, I don't have anything really pushing me. I don't have any reason to live. I'm really finding myself in a place where I'm in a rut. Well, I'm going to give you one reason to live right now. No, it's not going to be your children or your spouse, although they're going to be part of this. But here's the main reason. When your time is up, whether you decide to be cremated or you decide to be buried, right? And I'm talking about your body here. Whatever decision you make about this body that you're living in right now, my question for you is, what will be said of you? How will your family, again, I told you I would incorporate them, and your friends speak of you? What will they remember about you? You see, for me, I know that my wife had discovered the real reason for her being here. And she was doing all these YouTube videos. But, you know, after she left the earth, the one thing that I remember quite clearly, especially as we were living together in the same place, right, as husband and wife, every morning she would get up at 4 a.m. and she would go to read her Bible. She had discovered the secret of successful people. And the secret being that they use their time. The most successful people on the planet, they get up early in the morning and they start their day early. They start their day early, and I'm talking about before 7 a.m. Whether it is Bill Gates or the billionaire from Nebraska, as I like to call Warren Buffett, they both mention starting their day before 7 a.m. There are others, like Mark Cuban. You know, I'll just name you so many others, like Richard Branson of Virgin, right? A lot of these folks, they'll get up, and they've revealed this in their own books and on talks. They'll get up at 5 in the morning, some 4:30 in the morning, and some 6 in the morning. But at least they're making the best of their time. And one of the key things they've made a priority is that before they start any meeting with anybody else, they take time for themselves. They invest time in themselves. And this is the one thing that I had seen about my wife in her last months here, living in Puerto Rico with me. She would invest time in herself. She would invest time in developing who she is. And of course, as a result, she ended up creating all these videos. She was having such an impact that to this day, people are reaching out to me through her videos. And the point I want to make to you is this: are you making time for yourself? Yeah, I just shared with you at the beginning that I made time for my son. And it is important because, you know, it's the time we spend with each other that really matters more than anything else. That's how we can transfer knowledge. That's how we can transfer our love to each other, right? But my question to you is, do you have the habits that will make you a success tomorrow? Do you have the habits that will make you win in whatever situation life throws at you? Have you developed the habit of getting up early? Have you developed the habit of praying first thing in the morning? Have you developed the habit of reading or listening to powerful motivational messages? If you're listening, of course, to this podcast, I'm sure you have that habit in your life, or at least some of them. Have you developed the habit of exercising? You know, for me, I love playing basketball. I love going swimming. And sometimes we can have something at our fingertips, at our disposal, but we're not necessarily making good use of it. My buddy in Arizona, Eddie, he walks every morning. My cousin in New Jersey, Patrick, he goes and works out every morning. You see, there are habits that you have to develop, and you have to put them as part of your life. You know, I know these men, they get up early. My mother, I know she gets up early. She gets up early, she gets her house ready. You know, her husband may be just coming from work, but she's working. She's getting her house cleaned up, and she's getting ready to go to work. She's early at work, early in her garage, and waiting to get her day started. And usually she'll tell me, I was listening to some worship music, son. I was reading my Bible, son. You know, and so I know because 5:30 in the morning, I'm up, I'm reading, I'm doing my part of the day, right? And she'll invariably text me, hey son, how you doing? How are my grandkids? My point to you is this: it's the time. What exactly are you putting in your time? Think about those 86,400 seconds as the tank that you have, the tank of time. And not the tick of time, right? I don't want you to think about time ticking. You don't have the luxury to watch the clock ticking. You've got to be working. You've got to be creating. You are a creative spirit born after your creator, the manufacturer who sent you here for a purpose. You've got to make the best use of your time every day. Because if a day goes by and you wasted your time because of lack of energy, well, guess what? That's time you're never going to get back ever again. You've just wasted 86,400 seconds. That's why I don't have time to get drunk. I don't have time to do things that waste my time. I don't have time for those things. Because all it is doing, again, is taking me farther and farther away from the time that I invest in my health, my wealth, and gaining more wisdom. Again, let me repeat that. I want you to invest time in your health. I want you to invest time in your wealth, developing a mindset of wealth instead of living in a place where you're just okay with just enough, because just enough means you're in lack. You never have enough. Developing a mindset of always finding wisdom, because wisdom is coming to you so that your creativity can create great wealth. Wisdom is coming to you so that in your creativity, you can do things that help you with your health. And this morning, I would love to give you so much more. But guess what? I got to go spend the time to make some vegan pancakes now for me and my son. We're spending the morning together before we go back and get our girls. But my point to you is this: you've got to invest your time right. I will be speaking more on this subject. If you're interested, leave me a comment. But now I've got an important invitation for you. If you are an entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur of any type, or if you have the dream to develop your own business one day, or you're starting a side business and you're have a dream like me to transition from a full-time income and a full-time job to where you're running your own business like I've been in the last 2+ years, I invite you to join me on this podcast. I've got some folks already that have taken me up on it. And I invite you to go to eonthemove.com. That's E as in entrepreneur, onthemove.com, eonthemove.com/guest. Just go there and answer a few questions and set up the calendar so that we can have a time together. Again, the reason for the questionnaire is so that we make sure you are a fit. But trust me, you will get a calendar invite not long after you fill out the questionnaire. Again, I would love to spend some time with you, helping you to expose more of your mindset to the world at large. Your mindset on developing the business that you have in you. Maybe you already have the business and it's flourishing. Still, I would love to host you as my guest on the Daily Motivator. Again, this is Pierre Laguerre, your Daily Motivator, always here to challenge, inspire, and motivate you. Leave me a comment. Let me know that this is making a difference in your life, or at least challenging you on some level. And I look forward to spending more time with you next time. Have a great weekend.